Today I have for you the full text of a letter by Archbishop Vigano, in which he denounces both the modern errors we see unfolding in the documents and actions surrounding the controversial Abu Dhabi statement signed by Francis and that Sunni imam, as well as the documents of the Second Vatican Council that made it possible. The accusation is clear. There is discontinuity between what the Church taught before the Council and what it taught from the Council and now. Vigano makes multiple references to the encyclical of Pius XI, Mortalium Animos, and a link to the audio version of that is in the pinned comment if you want to hear it. Now, Archbishop Vigano in his own words. To the venerable brothers who have peace and communion with the Apostolic See in the defense of the truth revealed by Jesus Christ, health and apostolic blessing. Perhaps in the past it never happened that the heart of human creatures was taken, as today, by such a lively desire for fraternity. One easily understands how many are those who yearn to see more and more united among themselves the various nations, led to this by universal feeling of brotherhood. This is how the Supreme Pontiff Pius XI expressed himself at the beginning of his encyclical Mortalium Animos in 1928, signed precisely on the day of the Epiphany, when the Church recalls the three wise magi from the East, leaders of a ceaseless processional caravan guided by a shining star that appeared in the firmament, when on earth the Son of God came in the flesh, the one Savior, center of the cosmos and of history. 91 years later, last Friday, November 15th, 2019, as reported by Vatican News, Pope Bergoglio received the great Imam, Ahmed al-Tayyib, accompanied by various personalities and representatives of the University of Al-Azhar and the Superior Committee, all animated by the desire to give form and substance to the contents of the document on human brotherhood for world peace and the common cohabitation, agreed upon last August in the wake of the historic Emirate Declaration, signed by the Pontiff and by the Imam during the Year of the Brotherhood. About the document mentioned above, His Excellency Mohammed Khalifa al-Mubarak, as a representative of the United Arab Emirates, had previously stated that in a world where there are so many things that divide, the Emirates are committed to unite. Like a beacon of light, they want to bring light into a dark world, bringing light to this document, the most important signed in recent times. As if to say that the light from the east, which came to visit us from on high like the sun, rising, is now eclipsed by a new, bright lighthouse. The talks of the Vatican meeting were cordial, with words and expressive gestures of a by now consolidated friendship. We recall that this is the sixth meeting between the Pope and the great Imam. Thus, the Latin American warmth has prevailed over the long and rigid frost that formerly marked the relations between the Apostolic See and the highest leadership of Sunni Islam. The meeting also offered the opportunity to present the Pope with a singular project, of which it is possible to get a certain idea through the floor plans and 3D reconstructions. Sir David Ajay Obe is the creator of this architectural project, which will be built in the opulent and extravagant Abu Dhabi. It will be called the House of the Abrahamic Family, a sort of new tent of universal brotherhood, evoking that other tent of hospitality in which the ancient patriarch, Abraham, hosted three mysterious angels, prefiguration of the Trinitarian God fully revealed to the legitimate Abrahamic posterity, through faith in Jesus Christ. Abrahamic Family House is therefore the name of this structure that will house a synagogue, a mosque, and a church, naturally dedicated to the Povereo, St. Francis of Assisi. Sir David's project envisages that the three different places of worship should be joined together by a single foundation and placed within a garden, evocative of a new Eden, a re-evocation in a Gnostic and Masonic key of the paradise of the first creation. As explained to Pope Bergoglio, this structure will serve as a place of individual worship, but also for dialogue and interreligious exchange. In fact, a fourth building is also planned, home to the Center for Studies and Research on Human Brotherhood, whose objective, which can be seen from the Abu Dhabi document, will be to make the three religions known. In the same venue will also take place ceremonies to hand out a Human Brotherhood Prize. The building of the House of the Abrahamic Family seems to be a Babelic enterprise, concocted by the enemies of God, of the Catholic Church, and of the only one true religion capable of saving man and the whole creation from destruction, both now and eternity, and definitively. The foundation of this house, destined to give way and collapse, arise where, by the hands of the builders themselves, the one cornerstone is about to be incredibly removed, Jesus Christ, Savior and Lord, on whom is built the house of God. Therefore, warns the Apostle Paul, let everyone is careful how he builds. Indeed, no one can lay a foundation other than the one already found there, which is Jesus Christ. See 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 10. In the Garden of Abu Dhabi, the temple of the world syncretistic neo-religion is about to rise with its anti-Christian dogmas. Not even the most hopeful of the Freemasons would have imagined so much. Pope Bergoglio thus proceeds to further implement the apostasy of Abu Dhabi, the fruit of pantheistic and agnostic neo-modernism that tyrannizes the Roman Church, germinated by the conciliar document Nostra Aetate. We are compelled to recognize it. The poisoned fruits of the conciliar springtime are before the eyes of anyone who does not allow himself to be blinded by the dominant lie. Pius XI had alerted and warned us, but the teachings that preceded Vatican II have been thrown to the winds as intolerant and obsolete. The comparison between the pre-conciliar magisterium and the new teachings of Nostra Aetate and Dignitatis Humanae, to mention only those, manifest a terrible discontinuity, which must be acknowledged and which must be amended as soon as possible. Adjuvant Deo, with God's help. Well, let us listen to the words of the Supreme Pontiff Pius XI, when the popes used to speak the language of truth, chiseled with fire and diamond. Quote, they usually hold congresses, meetings, conferences, with wide public intervention to which all are invited to discuss, infidels of all grades, Christians and even those who miserably apostatize from Christ, or who with obstinate pertinacity deny the divinity of his person and his mission. Such attempts based on the false theory that supposes all religions good and laudable cannot certainly obtain the approval of the Catholics, since all, albeit in different ways, manifest and equally mean that congenital sentiment to which we feel to God and the acknowledgement of his dominion. Now the followers of such a theory, not only are they in deceit and error, but they repudiate the true religion, depriving it of its concept, turning step by step towards naturalism and atheism. Whence it clearly follows that those who adhere to the advocates of such theories and attempts move away completely from the religion revealed by God. End quote. The mystical bride of Christ over the centuries has never been contaminated, nor will she ever be contaminated. According to Cyprian's words, the bride of Christ cannot be made false to her spouse. She is incorrupt and modest. She knows but one dwelling. She guards the sanctity of the nuptial chamber chastely and modestly. See Mortalium Animos, paragraph 10. Today, more than ever, the Church needs strong and consistent doctrines. In the midst of disillusion, the compromises become more and more sterile, and each of them takes away a piece of the truth. Show yourself, then, who in the end you are, convinced Catholics. There is a grace linked to the full and complete confession of faith. This confession, the Apostle tells us, is the salvation of those who make it, and experience shows that it is also the salvation of those who understand it. See Dom Prosper Louis Pascal Granger, The Christian Meaning of History. The emeritus Pope Benedict XVI recently broke his silence by making public his sorrowful plea for the Church in this hour so troubled in its history. Even today our faith is threatened by reductive changes to which worldly fashions would likely to subject it to take away its greatness. Lord, help us in this time of ours to be and to remain true Catholics, to live and die in the greatness of your truth and in your divinity. Give us always courageous bishops who may guide us to unity in faith and with the saints of all times, and may show us how to act adequately in the service of reconciliation, to which our episcopate is called in a special way. Lord Jesus Christ, have mercy on us. Signed, Carlo Maria Vigano. And there you have it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Please pray for Archbishop Vigano and do acts of penance for the Church. Thank you for listening. I'm Anthony Stine. Ave Maria.